check this out. This is arguably the most important framework any business owner could ever learn. It's the Uplevel Blueprint, and it is the key for business owners on how to win at the game of business. It's the ideal hierarchy of ownership pretty much over everything in your life, whether we're talking about your non-passive assets, your passive assets, your portfolio assets, even your personal assets. And it's built on a framework that I call the Real Wealth Matrix. The Real Wealth Matrix actually consists of three components: a legacy component, ownership component, and operations component. And when you put these three things together in the exact right way, the result is you as a business owner accomplishing the key goals and objectives that most business owners have. Ultimately, having a say in the ultimate disposition of all of what you're working for, meaning everything you have actually goes to the people and the causes you care about. Having a fortress around all of your assets and ultimately learning how to keep more of every single dollar you make. You see, when you put this framework into action, it gives you the ability to look at those enemies at the gate, those creditors, right? The litigants, even dear old Uncle Sam, those enemies at the gate, you don't have to worry about them because the infrastructure gives you the capability of keeping them at bay. Now, you may sit back and say, well, Edward, how does this actually apply to my situation? Well, most business owners, unfortunately, they're never going to win at the game of business because they simply just don't know the rules. You see, most business owners are out here playing Twister while the wealthy are playing chess. Now, these are absolutely two different types of games, right? They both involve boards, but the rules are completely different. Now, let me say this. For a fact, if you are playing the wrong game, you will most certainly lose. And if you're playing the right game with the wrong set of rules, how can you ever hope to win? You see, if you look at business owners right now in the United States, there are approximately 33 million small businesses right now. You heard that right, 33 million small businesses just like yours and mine. Businesses that have less than 100 employees, businesses that have less than $50 million of annual revenue. This is the ecosystem that the vast majority of businesses that exist fall within. But here's the thing. Over the course of the past 30 years of me interacting with businesses, and again, if this is the first time that you and I are meeting, my name is Edward Collins. I'm a lawyer. I specialize in tax, estate, and business law. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I've built multiple companies, scaling them each up to and through 6, 7, even 8 figures, not to mention our real estate portfolio of residential and commercial real estate. And I'm saying all of this not to be braggadocious. I'm saying it to demonstrate that I'm academically trained in the languages of business and money, and I have practical experience putting that knowledge to work in the real world. And I've been helping business owners like you do the exact same thing for 3 decades. So in the game of business, I'm not just a player. I'm also a coach. And in my experience of working with small businesses, there's actually an evolution that takes place when we're talking about the concept of a business owner, evolving from being a job owner to becoming a business owner, then ultimately moving into what I call the emergent stages of entrepreneurism, and then ultimately into becoming a strategic entrepreneur, and finally becoming a true up-level entrepreneur. When we look at this evolution, again, my experience shows me that of the business owners that are out there, about 50% are really not business owners at all. They're really job owners. And even though they may be making some significant income, right? They may be in an environment where income is definitely coming in day after day, month after month, quarter after quarter. The reality is the vast majority of them have no formal structure around their business whatsoever. They're sole proprietorships or general partnerships. And if they do have structure, it's possibly maxing out at what's called a limited liability company. So what the result of that scenario is, these job owners, they have no legacy plan whatsoever. And they are subjecting themselves to significant amount of risk because even though they may have a limited liability company surrounding their business, they've not engaged in any of the formalities of business. So they actually don't get the statutory protections they believe they may have. And with this structure, there's zero tax strategy being implemented because there is no formality with regard to the business operation from a tax perspective. Now, there are a few business owners that actually go beyond this and actually achieve something that some would desire, right? About 30% of business owners, in my experience, are actual business owners. They've put in some formal structure, right? Maybe an LLC that has a little bit more meat to it, maybe a C corporation. Maybe they're electing S corporation tax treatment. But even in this scenario, there's no legacy plan in place. There's still a significant amount of risk that they're personally taking on. And even if they are electing S corporation treatment, they're only engaging in some tax reduction strategy, because an S corporation is simply the starting point for gaining access to a variety of different tax reduction strategies. And if you don't know exactly how to employ them the right way, you end up sending the IRS a tip every year, meaning you're paying way more than you're absolutely required to. And then when it comes to figuring all of this stuff out, most business owners, in my experience, are trying to rely on their accountant to help them reduce their tax burden. Ask yourself this question: is that what you're doing? See, the challenge with doing so is the vast majority of accountants are little more than glorified historians. They're spending most of their time, effort, and energy just trying to figure out how to best tell the IRS what already happened, right? It's a yesterday job. Don't get me wrong, compliance is required. You have to file your taxes. But there's a big difference between tax compliance and tax strategy. Tax strategy is about what do you do next week, next month, next quarter to ensure that next year your tax burden is lowered. It's a proactive process, but unfortunately, most business owners aren't engaging in it. Now, those emerging entrepreneurs that are engaging in it, about 15% in my experience, well, those individuals have indeed put LLCs in place with C corporations and S corporations and really have some integrated tax strategy going on. They maybe are even introducing operational infrastructure in the form of holding companies and operating companies. But even in this scenario, these emerging entrepreneurs still have no legacy plan in place. They have some asset protection, but again, depending on the operations of the business, they may not get all of the things from an asset protection perspective that they believe they have access to. And again, still only some tax reduction strategy, because there's way more than just looking at your business operations and telling the IRS you want to be treated as an S corporation for tax purposes. Again, that's just the door opener when it comes to tax reduction opportunities. Now, there are some strategic entrepreneurs out there, individuals that are going well beyond what most do. Again, just under 5%, about 4.99% in my experience. Now, these are individuals that have incorporated trusts into their planning. They've incorporated the holding company and the operating company, and they are likely starting to integrate those different aspects of their entrepreneurial ecosystem into a relationship where they're reducing taxes while mitigating risk in a preferred manner. But in this scenario, which again, about 4.99% of business owners out there actually achieve this strategic entrepreneur status, there are only some legacy aspects that are being dealt with, and only some asset protections being dealt with, and only some tax reduction strategies being implemented. Now, ask yourself this: do you want some or do you want solid, right? Some versus solid. Do you want a solid plan in place for all aspects of those key objectives that business owners have? Well, in my experience, that's about 0.01%. And just for your reference, these are my clients, right? We focus our effort and energy on dialing in all aspects of a client's financial life, from their financials themselves to their business structure and operations. We are looking and leveraging to a variety of different degrees, multiple trusts, multiple holding companies across the various spectrums of assets and income, right? From their non-passive to their passive to their portfolio, right? Having the right infrastructure in place to safeguard the wealth that they're creating, to protect from both inside out and outside in liabilities. The inside out liability is what most people think of when they're thinking of asset protection. That's a risk event happens in your business. You want to prevent that harmed party from reaching through your business to get to your personal stuff. The way to do that is put formal legal structure around your business, hence the limited liability company as an example. However, even in those circumstances, that's just one dimension of asset protection. There's a whole nother dimension outside in. This is what I sometimes refer to as the Bentley approach, right? The concept of of driving a Bentley down the road, crashing into a Toyota Corolla. No matter what, whether you own the Bentley or you're leasing the Bentley, they see you're driving a Bentley. And therefore, you potentially become a target from a litigation perspective. If, however, you choose to cloak your entire financial life, to have this cloak of invisibility of sorts, making sure that your infrastructure is designed in just the right way, that your name is not on public record with regard to what you own, that's when you start to dial in some strategic advantage when it comes to asset protection. And in this environment, this up-level entrepreneur ecosystem, well, you have a solid legacy plan in place, meaning you actually have the say in who is the ultimate beneficiary. Everything you work so hard to build during your lifetime, it goes to the people and the causes that you care about. When it comes to asset protection, you have a solid plan in place, an actual fortress around everything you're building, so that no matter how strong those enemies at the gate are, they won't get your stuff. You have a solid tax reduction plan in place, because after all, it's your money. And think about this. Of the taxes you've paid last year, the year before that, the year before that, what was your return on the investment of the dollars that you sent to Uncle Sam? I'd argue probably zero, right? When it comes down to it, I want you to be able to hold on to more of every single dollar you make so that you can become an amazing steward of those resources and put those resources to work, whether that's reinvesting in your own company, going out and buying another company, going out and buying investment real estate, or simply just going on a family vacation that you've been putting off until now. You see, the concept of understanding the up-level entrepreneur journey, that evolution is critical. Now, when you look at it, you get to leverage this blueprint as an up-level entrepreneur. And you may say, oh, Edward, how does this actually fit in? Well, the ecosystem is a framework that's designed structurally to be malleable based on your circumstances. So maybe you're a business owner that has a particular type of company that has different divisions in it currently. Well, maybe we would want to segregate those separate divisions and simply say, okay, if one division has a challenge, we can close it down and create a whole new one, right, to operate. So that, again, you are able to keep all of the different aspects of your risk profile segregated from each other aspect of your financial life. When it comes to your investment real estate, maybe we have some properties that are operating inside of simply an LLC, and others we may wish to leverage something like a land trust, and then leverage that land trust in such a way to not only get anonymity, but also potentially, depending on which state we're talking about, maybe some additional asset protections. Ultimately, you get to leverage the real wealth matrix through this concept of the up-level blueprint so that you can actually start winning at the game of business. And when you do so, we can take a look at what the impact is for those different objectives. You see, when we leverage that blueprint with the concept of a legacy plan, there's a big difference between the job owner all the way through to the up-level entrepreneur. Because the job owner, and the vast majority, if you will, of the different stages, there's no trust in place, which means all of the money that you're working hard to create during your lifetime, God forbid something happens to you, well, there's an erosion of wealth that takes place because there's this thing called probate that eats away at your probate estate to the tune of anywhere from 3 to 10%, depending on where you live. And that's a completely avoidable tax that without planning, you are planning to fail at because your heirs have to deal with it in a public ecosystem. They have to go to court. Sometimes that court process can last months, if not years. This process of not having an integrated plan, it not only costs you dollars from your heirs' perspective, but it also costs time and mental well-being. As opposed to an up-level entrepreneur that has a trust plan in place, that has an integrated ecosystem, that has a facility by which to actually pass on your wealth with intention, right? And it's private because what your heirs would do in that ecosystem is simply call their advisor and deal with the entirety of this transition of wealth in a private ecosystem. Probate is a public process. Like your nosy neighbor could go down to the courthouse and take a look at any of the wills that are currently being probated. But your trust planning, that is a private ecosystem that is not available for public inspection. So the big difference between a job owner and an up-level entrepreneur in the legacy plan phase is that you actually get a legacy plan when you're an up-level entrepreneur. When it comes to asset protection, again, there's a huge difference between that job owner and that up-level entrepreneur. The job owner has no strategic hierarchy of ownership, which means their wealth that they're building during their lifetime, there's not an integrated process for ensuring that that wealth is operational in the event that there is some litigation that maybe jumps out from behind the bushes and attacks you. How many times have you heard the story where a business owner got sued, whether it was because of a business situation or something that happened in their personal life, whether it was them or even their minor children, right? The liabilities that exist when you are creating something of worth, you become the target of those litigants, those opportunists who are just waiting for an opportunity to pounce on and take a piece of your pie. The concept of asset protection is critical, but unfortunately, the job owner has none of it. And when it comes down to it, the up-level entrepreneur, they're able to leverage the real wealth matrix, that infrastructure ecosystem, the hierarchy of ownership, so that their wealth is actually protected from any of those outside forces, regardless of whether it's a litigant or a creditor. Your assets are protected because you've built a fortress around what you're working so hard to create during your lifetime. Now, when we're talking about this concept of tax reduction, again, it's night and day between what a job owner and an up-level entrepreneur experience. Because job owners have no tax strategy in place. So they're working really, really hard to generate revenue, and that's what their focus is. But an up-level entrepreneur has learned the secret. It's not about revenue. It doesn't matter how much you make. It matters how much you keep. It's net, not gross, that matters at the end of the day. The job owner is in a situation where they want to keep their money, but the IRS is just ready to take way more than their fair share. Because without a strategy in place, you're at the whims of just trying to figure out how much dollars you're supposed to send them. And so many business owners make mistake after mistake in that regard. When it comes to an up-level entrepreneur, there is an integrated tax strategy that's built into the overall ecosystem. You know exactly how dollars funnel from one enterprise to another. You know what happens from your operating company to your holding company. You know how you're shifting money up to your trust level. Each of the hierarchies of ownership have a strategic role in your overall tax reduction game plan. And when it comes down to it, you leverage the 3 magic words in the tax code: deductions, credits, and the most beautiful word of all, exclusions. Exclusions are sort of like the cloak of invisibility around your money. You see, the concept of understanding the main differences between job owner and up-level entrepreneur when it comes to tax reduction is that the up-level entrepreneur keeps more of their own dollars. Now, when it comes down to it, when we look at the overall process of becoming an up-level entrepreneur, it is done by design, meaning you have to have intention behind getting to this outcome. To put an infrastructure like this in place, there's a lot of nuance. You have to understand exactly what's going on in your situation and exactly which type of entities to leverage where. And that's where a professional comes into play, someone who actually knows what they're doing. Now, if you try to do this on your own, you're likely going to reach out and try to get in touch with an asset protection attorney, get in touch with an estate and trust attorney, get in touch with a financial advisor, get in touch with an accountant, get in touch with a tax strategist, right? And you need all of these different professionals in order to get the outcomes you desire. But there's an alternative. It's one of the reasons why we created this ecosystem in the first place. But I have no idea whether or not we'd be a fit to help you. All you need to do is invest a few moments of your time to see if we're a fit so that we can help you win at the game of business.